Hello,
We're live.
hello. And I was like, recording
It's
in
happening.
progress. It's happening. Oh,
Do you want to hit stop and start over?
no, it's okay. This is
All right.
life,
Cool.
right? This is totally life.
There
So,
you go.
thank you so much, anyone who's listening or watching this lovely video. I am Jill Coletti. I am here to talk about the Invincible Family Project with the amazing Tara Hills, who is one of the 27 amazing authors of this book. This is a collaboration that is to help instill hope for everyday families, right? For our future, to help create literally what this says, the invincible family, right? So if you've seen this, you may have seen some other interviews. I've talked with different people, and I think the really cool thing about it is that there's 27 authors. Look at all this. 27 women came together to write this book together with the amazing Martha Krejci, who is on the back, photographed on the back. We all have different stories. We all have different backgrounds. We live all over the world. There's Canada, there's the US, all over the US, there's Singapore. I mean, we are from all different areas of this globe. And we all have a mission to make our families invincible. We all have missions that we're serving. What's really cool about it is the way we're doing that. This is not like my family is going to be invincible and no one else. It is, we are helping to create invincible families around the world, not just our 27 families, but everything that we are doing within this book and outside of it is all of service in some way. And that's what I love about it. This is not a selfish thing. This is we learn to put ourselves first so that we can shine our light. And we are shining that light on our families, on our communities, on all the people around us, on everyone that is reading this book, to instill the hope that they can also do this too, right? Right. So I don't want to gab too much because you know me, I can get a little gabby. So Tara, if you would maybe share a little glimpse of you, and so people can get to know you a little better, maybe a little tidbit of what the story is here, and we can go from there.
I would love to. Well, thank you again, Jill, for inviting me to share a bit about my life, a little bit about my story, and how I came to be involved with the Invincible Family Project. Because, a year ago, Jill and I didn't even know each other, right? Like, I'm in Canada, she's in New Hampshire. I didn't know any of these other women, didn't know Martha Krejci, just living my life. So I am a big family mom. I'm known as the mom of many. I'm expecting baby number 11 in 4 weeks. And I'm a full-time stay-at-home homeschooling mom, living in my life, just minding my own business, super introverted person living in Canada. And oh my gosh, there's so many stories within a story, right? But it's good to have a challenge. Be like, okay, how can I say this in like 10 minutes or less? So here's the deal. I really was kind of having a private funeral, metaphorically speaking, on all of my dreams. And I never would have told anybody because, that's really personal. And I was like, hey, we have a big family. I'm so super grateful. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful for my hardworking husband. He works a local handyman business and I do all the behind the scenes in that. I'm grateful. We have enough. We've never missed a meal, right? But all the things that I would love to do with my family, all the places I would love to go in this life while they're still at home, before they go off in their adult lives, all the things I want to give to the organizations, the charities, the stories that break your heart. And I'm just like, I would love to help. I would love to support that missionary family. I would love to get behind that project, but we're already squeezed as it is. Because with 10 children, and a number of them now in their teenage years and all getting taller than me, and I'm 6 feet tall. The grocery bill is average $400 a week. And that's modest. I cook all my meals. So I was feeling it. And I'm just grateful to have, a roof over our head and 3 meals a day and enough. But there isn't really a whole heck of a lot more to give or to dream beyond. So I just decided I'm going to be grateful And I'm going to also give up, hoping that things could be different, that we could ever, do things like little families do, because the grass is always greener on the other side. Maybe, I don't know, go to Florida or go visit family we haven't seen in years before they die. Right? Yeah. Let's just get real.
Yeah.
So I was just quietly giving up. Meanwhile, my little sister, for 13 years, both of us had been trying and failing in different little home businesses. There's a billion different home business models. We've been trying and failing. And what a horrible feeling. You just feel like perpetual. You're like, well, you see all these other people who are hitting rank and doing this and killing it. And oh my gosh, they make it look so easy. Like, oh, you just have a bunch of home parties. And then all of a sudden you can quit your day job and bring your husband home if that's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And we just felt like, okay, I'm not a stupid woman. I have a university education and I just couldn't pull this off the ground. So I gave up years ago, but bless her heart, she didn't. Yeah. She didn't. And she just kept going and failing and going and failing. She says now, she basically turned herself into an overnight success. But after 13 years of failure, which a lot of people like, see what happened was a year ago, everything turned around. She was super private about it. She didn't I wouldn't have known. We had a casual conversation in the spring. And I ended up finding out because I was like, are you almost hiding this from me? She's like, no, it just didn't come up. Mm-hmm. She's pulling in 5 figures a month. And I was like, shut up. And I knew it was legal. I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I met this woman, business strategist. She teaches stay-at-home moms how to build multiple income streams from home on 5 to 10 hours a week. I was like, shut the door. What's her website? Because it was my sister, right? And because I have, I trust her. I know her. She's not this hype stranger. I know what she's been through. Mm-hmm. So I went on the website and I immediately jumped into what's called her Home Business Revolution program that night, ridiculously low price, and apparently only low price for a couple more weeks. That being said, my sister said, I was like, what did you do, Meg? What did you do? Like, whatever you did, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to you go ahead and I'll follow step by step. She said, well, listen, I jumped into HBR. And the second thing I did is I took this program called Big Think. I'm like, Big Think. She's like, yeah, it's like dealing with your underlying beliefs. She's like, because Terry, the reason why I was failing miserably for 13 years, I was like, oh, yeah, I don't really like talking about that. It's kind of uncomfortable. Uh-huh. She's like, it was me. I was like, yeah, that probably makes sense. Because it's not like we're stupid. It's not like we're not motivated. Mm-hmm. It's not like the systems don't work. And if you just keep trying another model, another business, and finally you'll hit jackpot or something. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And it was like, I don't know, it was like $50. It was nothing. It was the tiniest little thing. I almost didn't even take it seriously, but I just followed instructions. I humbled myself and I was like, damn it, if she can do it, so can I. And I had this little flicker of hope. I was like, stop the funeral. I'll be right back. So I went back inside, kind of put my big girl panties on, and I got to work. And I just started studying the courses, studying the modules a couple hours a week, but I took the Big Think just anyway to get it over with so I could just check it off my to-do list. Well, meanwhile, life was happening. And in 4 kids in a row, in a span of a couple of months, 4 of my children of my 10, for the first time ever, were all diagnosed with a learning-related issue. Some of them more serious than others. And I had never gone through this before as a mom. And let me tell you, as a homeschool mom, we can sometimes feel very insecure because we don't have report systems. We don't necessarily have any kind of outside person telling us, good job, well done, good and faithful servant. And so there's always this fear of, what if I screw my kids up? What if they don't get a proper education? And there's plenty of people in your life who will, just say that spontaneously. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because you're not following the usual program of what people are familiar with. I didn't want to tell anybody because I thought for sure, there were the people, the naysayers in your life who can be like, we tried to tell you, because we're the first generation Christians in our family, first generation homeschoolers in our family, kind of pioneers. We've taken a lot of flack and we're like, first to have grandchildren. So a lot of pressure. I didn't want to tell anybody. I'm taking the Big Think course. And I'm just, when it all hit, the first diagnosis, I was like, okay, these things happen statistically. Second, I was like, wow, okay, what are the odds? Moving on. Third, I was like, this is getting intense, God. The fourth one came and I broke. I just broke. So I just, hold it together for the day for the kids, right? But then that night, go to my room, close the door once everyone's in bed, and start sobbing. And I was like, was I not paying attention? Should I have listened? Oh my God. I love, like, it was all happening. And then everything I'd been learning in the Big Think all came back to me. And I was like, no, that's business stuff. That's so I can make income, make my family financially invincible. But God was like, there's so much more to invincible than money. And I was like, oh, I'm listening. Where else do I have to go, Lord? Who else do I have in heaven? And he just spoke to my heart so personally in that very, very lonely place. I hadn't even shared everything with my husband yet. I was still in that quiet place alone with God, snotty and broken. And he just said, I am preparing you to go in front of other women who are going to go through the same thing. And I was like, what? He's like, this is so much more than money, Tara. You're going to just go a little couple steps ahead on a road of life as a big family mom, homeschooling. These are very unique niches, if you will. And you're going to be able to turn around in the fire and say, I've been there and I made it through, and I'll walk with you out. And I just broke. But this time it wasn't a hopeless breaking. It was like beauty from the ashes. Yeah. This isn't just happening because I'm a screw up. This is happening because God is taking me to it and through it. And something is going to come from this if I just trust and hold on. And I was like, through a business training program? Only God, right? Only God.
Yeah.
So I blew my nose, straightened my shoulders. I picked up my mat and I walked, so to speak, told my husband the final diagnosis. He was way cooler than I was, more stoic human being. Yeah. God bless him. But I think I'd also turned a corner. Yeah. I had turned to this corner of acceptance and trust. And I hadn't even made a dime yet. I had barely started like the first level of modules of training with the Home Business Revolution. So that was a couple months ago. I share that story a little bit more in the book, and I don't mind spoiling the whole thing. I'll tell you right now, because here's the deal. Like Jill said, I'm only one of a few. And the women who are featured in this book are only a sampling of the thousands of lives that are being touched, and it's multiplying and growing every day. And Jill and I were just talking like, well, listen, we don't get any kickback out of the sale of this book at all. We're sharing this because we have a heart to serve other women, whoever God would have our lives connect with, because we know that things get shaken, right? Your family gets shaken. You get bad news, you get a bad diagnosis, you get a bad break. And all of a sudden you find out, I didn't have a lot of stuff in place to support me, whether it was a community, whether it was like, a religious community for me, whether it was like financial, having your things in place so you could lose one income, but you're okay because you got some other stuff in the oven. Actually, maybe start investing for the first time ever, but you don't know how because you just need someone to show you. Anyway, I just want to encourage you. This is me. This is my story. I thought I was going to get business training, and I now have. I've been published twice. We've got money coming in. I mean, it's all happening. I just kept following the steps like my sister, and she's gone on. Like, it wasn't a fluke. She has been only growing since then. So I have hope. Yeah, financial hope, but I have more than that. I have a hope that my life will actually matter in the days that God has portioned for me to live. And it's going to be more than just serving my family, which is awesome enough. They're all inspired. My kids are like popcorn now. They're like, they watched me write a book and they watched it go bestseller. And now all of my kids are like, you mean I don't have to just get a job and that I hate for the rest of my life until I die? And I'm like, kids, there's a world of possibility out there. And they're watching it happen. How cool is that? They're watching it in their aunt and uncle. They're watching it in their mom and dad. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch it happen in them. So I just want to share that Everyday Family's creating hope. Yeah. And it's bigger than I think even words could say right now. Because all the women in this book have different stories. All of them give me chills. The good chills, all of them inspire me. So if this in any way has touched you and you're like, yeah, I could use some of that hope. Then go ahead and check out the link to the book below, or any of the links that we choose to include in this post, whatever. We just want to bless you because we know what it's like to have no hope. And then someone comes along and says, I've been where you're at, and I know there's a way out. You want to come? I mean, no pressure, but like you can if you want.
I can't stop getting chills this whole time. And I think what's really cool and interesting about this too is all 27 of us are so different. Totally. But the amount of in my brain going, me too, me too, me too, as you were talking, I have 2 kids, not going on 11. Okay.
Yeah.
My kids go into school, though they were homeschooled during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I can feel all that. So there's a lot of differences, but there's a lot of similarities of feeling like my dreams were lost and then finding hope that they're coming back, and inspiring and living like you're doing these things for your kids. That's like your initial thought, right? You're doing all of this for your kids, for your family, but you're doing it for them, but you're doing it with them all along their way. They are witnessing. You are being such an amazing example for them, and they're witnessing it, and they're seeing this a massive, amazing hope. And that's where the legacy comes in, right? That's where that legacy piece, that you're doing this now, right now, for your family. And I literally have chill bumps like my entire body, but the impact, the future impact of these children, who one not even born yet, and one, 17, right?
Yeah.
They have now all these things that they can dream about.
Yeah.
And I said, my biggest thing in this life is that my children, I hope and talk with God all the time, like surrender to, like, no matter what stories and what hardships and what turmoil you go through, that they are that much better off based upon what we are doing to help set them up and create their hope.
Yeah. And that's the story of how many countless families, right, who sold everything and then crossed an ocean to just have a chance, and they knew they probably wouldn't make it in their lifetime, but they knew their kids would have a chance. I mean, I love those kind of inspirational stories, right? Of families creating legacies. And honestly, God could take me out tonight and I'd be like, thank you for the perfect timing. And like, this isn't like Jesus level hope. This is real, practical, down to earth, by the grace of God working in and through my life to give us strategies so that I can take, by faith and build something here on earth that will bless my family, be able to bless others, and go on to my children and my grandchildren. The cool thing is the HBR program, my kids have access to all the courses, and they're, they're hanging out over my shoulders. I'm watching.
And the big thing too,
jumping into a coaching call. Yeah. And I didn't have this a year ago. I didn't have this hope. I didn't have a path in front of me. I had desire, I had drive, I had will, I had all the ingredients. I just didn't have that path in front of me. So I could keep going. Like, we're both.
Oh my gosh, me too. I said, like, my kids hear Martha's voice, and actually even Megan's voice now. They like hear it and like come over to like they know the voice from across the room, because I'm so grateful for you. I really appreciate you sharing a piece of your story. I know there's so much more to it. I was so inspired reading it, and even more so listening to you right now. So I really appreciate it. To anyone who's watched, if you are so inclined and you're inspired by even like one of the Me Too moments in Tara's story, I will share her link in the comments below so you can connect with her, and of course share a link for the book and Big Think and the Home-Based Revolution, all the things that we talked about. All the links will be there so you can check it out, and of course reach out to either one of us if you have any questions.
For sure.
So, thanks so much, and have the most amazing day.
You too. Take care.
Thanks.